Welcome to the podcast. It's John here. I'm going to be your host today. Today we're going to be talking about the technological advances of the past, specifically the 19th century. I have two guests with me today, Jerlin and David. All right, who wants to start off?
I'll start off. One of the big inventions of the 19th century was the light bulb, which was invented by Edison. Near the end of the 19th century, Edison created the light bulb, and he started to attempt to sell it to the common people and commercialize it. He made his own electric company, and he just attempted to create common resource of electricity. Unfortunately for him, it didn't really work out until the 20th century. At around 1925, more than half of the homes in the U.S. started to use light bulbs.
On the topic of the invention of light bulbs, it's theorized that Tesla invented the light bulbs and that Edison stole it from him. Do you have any comments on that?
Well, I'm not too sure about the whole Edison stealing from Tesla thing, but if he did steal it, then he doesn't deserve any of the recognition or wealth that he got from there. But if Edison didn't steal it, then, well, he deserves all of that wealth and recognition. And technically, even if he did steal it, then Edison was the one who popularized it. So we still wouldn't have these light bulbs or whatever if Edison wasn't in the picture. And speaking of Tesla, did you know that Tesla once planned to build a huge tower that can relay messages and signals across the Atlantic Ocean by using the Earth itself to conduct its signals? And he also did everything in threes. He wiped the table in 18 times. He only picked hotels with multiples of 3. And he also once planned to construct a weapon that was capable of accelerating mercury particles to 48 times their normal speed and could decimate entire squadrons of fighter pilots or fighter jets.
Those are all pretty interesting inventions and concepts. That's pretty interesting that you said a thing that can transfer information like that. It's almost like the modern day internet. You know, speaking of the modern day internet, I think we should start to talk about telephones since that's one of the next most recent inventions.
So the telephone was invented by Alexander Graham Bell, who was a Scottish inventor who founded the American Telephone and Telegraph Company, or more commonly known as AT&T.
And although he's mostly remembered as being the creator of the telephone, Bell was actually way more he was way more proud of being a teacher to the deaf than he was about being the inventor of the telephone.
So many interesting leaps in technology. I think now we should talk about the invention of the camera.
Right, the camera was technically invented before the 1800s by a guy named Johannes Zahn, but it was very loosely called a camera because it was mostly just mirrors and boxes, and you couldn't actually take a picture of anything. It was more like a viewing device. The first actual real camera was invented in the mid-19th century by Joseph Niepce, who took the first photograph ever made in history.
You know, it's monumental for the 19th century because they could take literal snapshots of history and put it in the newspaper. In the past, it took artists days, weeks, for dedicated ones, even months to get a good portrait out. But here, you have a device which could capture photographs in just hours. And it's better than what any artist could do. So, it would be more accurate than the artist as well. I'd say this kind of invention is on the same level as the printing press by Johann Gutenberg.
That's pretty interesting. You know, mechanical inventions weren't the only major things to come from the 19th century. Another major leap was a common cure that's still prevalent today, aspirin. Do you want to talk about that?
Sure. At the end of the 19th century, aspirin was first produced by Felix Hoffmann, and it was treated as a sort of miracle drug that could alleviate headaches, pains, fevers, and inflammations, and we still use it today. And it's actually one of the most important medicines to be ever produced.
It hasn't really changed much from the past either, because, it still does the same things, still has pretty much the same formula, and it's still common because it isn't outdated by other medicines, because even now, when you have a headache, the first thing you might think of is taking aspirin.
You know, it's pretty interesting that you brought that up. A lot of the technologies from then still carried over and led into future inventions. The camera led into animation and video, the light bulb led into smaller lights and LEDs, and it continued evolving over time. It's pretty monumental to think about all that happening and how it scales up. All right, this concludes the podcast. Thanks for watching. This video was sponsored by ourselves and Mr. Graham.
And your partner. Can I get an amen?
See you on the flip side. Damn it, Jean.
Hey, Vsauce.
You look very reporter-like with your... Also, make some room, guys.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
you moved down a bit, Jean.
Yeah, sure.
You fool.
I love how this video is...
Whoa.
What if I... Wait, I just want to...
Oh.
Hi, welcome to our podcast. I'm going to be your host today, John.
It's fine, just go.
No! Welcome to the podcast. It's John here. Today we're going to be talking about technological advancements in the past, specifically the 19th century. I have two guests with me today, Jerlin and David, here to talk to you about all the inventions of the past. Who wants to start off?
I'll start off first. So, one of the main inventions of the 19th century was the light bulb. You know, prior to the invention of the light bulb, people were completely reliant on candles and lanterns after the sunset. And they weren't very reliable because wind could put them out, and they were just fires, really. Near the end of the
That all
19th century...
changed when the Fire Nation
You
attacked.
fucking...
Dang, Jerlin!
Hold him down!
No, no,
Ah!
no!